right. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to What's the Rate, the show where we get into the raw and real of pursuing creative success as a self-funded artist in your 20s in New York City. I'm your host, Brianne Lyons, and today I am here with photographer Luke Stage. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello. Happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you in New York.
Yes, it's really nostalgic.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here and to be seeing all of my people. So
Yeah. We were talking about before we started formally rolling about how this wind is very weaponizing. It's been it's been very demonic. So hey. But anyways, so talk to us about your day. You were just on set, so if you could say anything about that, talk to us about that.
Yeah, set today was really beautiful. We were doing a campaign for something that honestly is very innovative. I can't say much, but it was very, very innovative, and it was a great team as well, and just good vibes, with the exception of there not being any heat in the studio on a feels like negative 15-degree day was unforgivable.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone's looking at me like,
what's going on?
Everyone just is so desensitized, I think, to the cold. But I, on the other hand, am no longer. I'm very sensitive. I'm not desensitized, whereas I used to be desensitized.
I think I never will be desensitized. Coming from Colorado, you would think I would be, but I truly, and it's crazy because I think it's like detrimental to like my physical like well-being, like how cold it is.
Yeah.
So
okay, then yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah,
here.
I think I need to like you did move somewhere warm because like truly it's like it hurts being outside. Anyway, back to photography. So talk to me about your passion with photography, and just kind of where you want to go with it. So tell us where you are right now and how you would define yourself right now, where you are right now in your career, and also where you see it going.
Yeah, photography for me is that one outlet of expression that allows me to show up as myself and convey visions and within my mind, my imagination that I'm not necessarily able to express through other outlets. So it's a wonderful medium for me, and just the visual arts in general are super special to me because I feel like it's the method of visual art, from conceptualizing something in your mind to being able to execute it and see it come to life in real time, in a very cinematic and interactive way. I feel like visual art, especially for those that prefer or need a visual in order to resonate with a piece of art, that's the most beautiful part of it, I would say. And so that's the most rewarding feeling, is when, I share a set of images from a shoot and people may message me and be like, this really made me think, or I've never seen something like this. Those sort of comments really make me realize that, this has an impact, So that's the really cool part about it. As far as where I'm looking to go with it, that's forever evolving. I feel every season of life, I feel that it just sort of takes a turn, or maybe my intentions sort of, I have to relocate them, because I think when I first started taking fashion and editorial photography more seriously, I was really focused on kind of, I guess, how fast I could get to not the top, but maybe just like the next big thing. And I feel like that feeling, that drive has worn off, and now it's more centered and aligned with how can I express myself to the fullest, to where, like I mentioned, I could impact someone else.
Yeah.
And I just think that that's kind of human. That's part of when you first discover your passion. There's going to be like this hunger because maybe you're seeing other artists in these positions above you that are doing these huge things, and you feel like, oh, if I could get there, then I'll be doing something right. You know? So I think that's where I started, and now it's like I've received a decent handful of major opportunities. So I think that at this point I'm just kind of like, okay, I had that feeling, I received those gifts, and now it's about just creating art, for the sake of art and expression.
I don't think there's anything superficial or necessarily wrong about wanting to expand and wanting to receive certain accolades or credentials or things like that. I think oftentimes with being empathetic artists, where we really do love like getting into the emotion and the story and things like that, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to, accomplish like a magazine cover or like shoot a specific person or like, you know what I mean? So right. Just saying that I agree with your point of like having that hunger at the very beginning, Yeah.
Trust those goals are still there. There are still people that I want to create with, brands I want to work for, but I didn't want that to be the driving force, the root behind why I do intention. What I do, because I just had the epiphany that, oh, if that's the root of why I'm doing what I'm doing, then A, I'm not really doing it for the art, and B, I'm gonna get really frustrated when I don't, reach a goal, and then, I don't want to then self-inflict if I don't achieve, that goal.
Yeah. So what's your favorite project that you've worked on thus far?
Thus far, hitting me with the ones that are really hard to answer.
What? No.
just because I think that every single project, whether it's something low key or high key, I just aim for the next body of work to be my best. So it's hard because I'll look at something that maybe I did literally a month ago and I'm like, don't love it. But at this moment, I would have to say probably any of the editorials I've shot in the last year, just editorials in general, I really favor because they allow me to do my thing. It's not like a cover with an artist, which I also really love. But, when you are executing something for someone else, there's a bit more of, a limitation or a blueprint you have to follow. And I just love when I get to freestyle and just kind of go wherever, my heart leads me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I did do a project recently about 3-ish weeks ago. It hasn't actually released yet. It's an editorial for this indie magazine in LA, and I'm actually really excited about that one. I feel like it was experimental for me because I got to play around with some new setups, and also it was an all-male talent cast, so I typically don't shoot with just all men. So that was kind of like challenging for me because I'm normally shooting with females.
Okay, so
and me and the girls, the synergy,
love the gag.
The synergy there, but I was like, no, this is good to get me out of my comfort zone, especially like a group of men. Like I can do one-on-one, but they were so chill and also comfortable within themselves to where they didn't let the clothes, the style, like the wardrobe wear them. Like they really became one with the clothes, and so I think that it's gonna translate really nicely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. There's a couple pieces in that I wanted to dive deeper into. How you said working with men kind of pushed you to expand your comfort zone a little bit.
Yes.
And I'm just really interested as to why. I kind of want you to dig a little bit deeper into that, Is it just based on your experience or just kind of like what you've observed, or just tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. I think that It's definitely a bit of deeply rooted trauma.
Yeah.
Just sort of more masculine energy can kind of conflict with my energy. I wouldn't say I'm the most feminine or the most masculine. So I think that I just sort of gravitate towards a feminine and more like, or just fluid, style of personality. And there is like this stigma around working with, more masculine energy that can be, I guess, maybe egotistical, or it could be kind of combative to the creative process, where you just want to be comfortable. You want the talent to be comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and to just open up with each other. And I think sometimes that can be a little tricky with male talent. But when they're confident and fluid and, secure, I think that it is that, all of those things. Mm-hmm. So that was just kind of my anxiety a little bit before, because I do prefer working with the girls.
With the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to me about, I guess I want to ask you if you ever get nervous about doing a concept, especially when you're working with like a brand or like an artist, or even for a magazine. Like, is there ever a moment while you're shooting you're like, ooh, I don't know about these?
Ooh. Actually, I would say I'm pretty...
If you're willing to be transparent about that.
I know. Yeah. I would say I'm pretty blessed, because all of my experiences working with artists at a higher level, I typically form a personal relationship with them before we get into it, or even after the first shoot we do. I feel like we're pretty, close in the sense, just energetically. So I never feel like this heaviness of, oh my gosh, if I don't execute what they want, then they're not going to hire me again. Mm-hmm. So I guess that my experience has been positive thus far. Yeah. But maybe if like I was tasked to photograph, Lord, I don't know. Like, honestly, I think that SZA would be really like chill and go with the flow, and would probably love what I have to offer. But someone to that caliber, like, I would probably be nervous beforehand. Yeah. But we would do it. We always deliver.
Yeah. I kind of want you to get into your story about LIZZO again. Okay. Please? Yeah. Just because I think that's so cool, So the floor is yours.
Okay. Yeah. So I moved to LA from New York in May. I'm sorry, y'all. No more winters for me.
No more winters. You're not missing anything. Please.
No, this weekend is it was affirming enough. That.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I moved in May, and then I connected with this creative collective that features, whether it's up and coming artists. Initially, it was up and coming artists in the techno scene. Honestly, a multitude of genres. But they do what's called car radio, and they allow these artists to come onto their 30-minute YouTube set and spin in the back of this convertible and drive around LA. So it's a really fun concept, and I was drawn to that. So I was like, hey, y'all, I love what you're doing, and I would love to be considered for any, future opportunities you have with these artists. And honestly, at that point, like, they weren't even shooting any necessarily big names. So that wasn't the driving force behind it. I just wanted to like vibe with them, and I felt aligned with what they were doing. And so actually another artist I love is Amare, and she was coming to LA to do a Black Star event for her album release, and was doing it in collaboration with Heads. So I felt like that was the perfect opportunity to reach out and be like, do you need a photographer? We got it set up, went wonderfully. And then in the coming weeks, actually, I think it was someone from their team asked me if I'd be down to shoot with LIZZO, because she was coming through for a car radio episode, not too late after. And I honestly didn't really comprehend that. I didn't feel like that was possible for me. But it was one of those moments where I was like, oh my goodness, thank God I moved, because I haven't really received this kind of opportunity just very nonchalantly before. And I was like, this is what I'm here for. Like, I love this. And we set it up. It was super, super intimate, like not a lot of people, which I appreciated. So I was able to connect with her. And I have zero complaints. It was really cool. It was just like a little BTS moment, but yeah.
Yeah, I love those. I like those pictures, and going through all the ones that you've sent me, but also your Instagram. I really do like how you edit your pictures. Like I was telling you before, I love your aesthetic, and I love the ones that you did with Tanner as well, Tanner Dell.
Yeah, that was really fun actually.
Yeah.
Just playing dress up. I need any opportunity to elevate or transform or sort of play like the role of a character. When it comes to celebrity talent too, I think that that's really fun because some celebrities within their branding and their artistry, and I understand why, like they have to, maybe put themselves into a box creatively just to have cohesive branding and everything. Yeah. But I like being that artist that can sort of break them out of the shell for a photo shoot once in a while,
yeah,
or do something that is just kind of different, and maybe the fan base or the audience will see this visual and be like, oh my gosh, like we love this and we haven't seen this from them before.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool to be a contributor to that.
Yeah.
I want to creative direct and help transform and world build with literally any artist, whether they're up and coming or to that level. Like as long as the synergy is there, like we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Truly. So there are a handful of artists that like I would love to work with, but at the same time, I think that there's something sacred as well about when it's an artist that you love and you value their music, just leaving it at that. Because sometimes, entering a creative partnership with an artist that's maybe signed by a label, like it either goes beautifully or not so well. So it's kind of like a risk you have to take, because some of those experiences can be limiting and maybe not as fulfilling as you think. And I definitely don't want to, experience that and it tarnish my, perspective on the artist.
So, are there any barriers that you feel like you have to push past in your career?
This constant pressure to be vulnerable on the internet.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Not vulnerable in the sense of sharing my art, because I love sharing my art, but just the sense of, if you're not active or visible, if you're not visible, then, you're not going to be necessarily, at the forefront of a client's mind. So that's something for me that I think can become a little exhausting, just kind of like, but honestly, I feel like I stay kind of not like mysterious at the same time. I'm not like really huge on, talking and sharing myself a whole lot. And I've tried, like I do it here and there, but I think that I don't think you should do anything just because other people are doing it and because it works for them. Like you have to do it because you enjoy doing it, or it makes sense with where you're at, how you want to brand yourself. So yeah, that's a barrier. That's like the first I can think of.
That's the first time that I've heard that worded like that, because I feel like a lot of times people are like being vulnerable kind of takes the pressure off for artists, because it's like we don't have to necessarily be perfect or like only put out work or only present a certain caliber of work, or like, be only showing one side of us and showing the human side of us, like showing the human behind the work. Does that make sense? I feel like now in social media, people are wanting more of the human. So do you get what I'm trying to say when I say that? So it's just interesting how you're like, I actually would rather kind of,
I would rather just, and like I said, not vulnerable in the sense of my art. I love sharing my art. It's me.
Yeah,
that's what I'm referring to. I would rather just release the art and not have to really share myself. I mean, I'll post a selfie, but it's like, do I want to do a voiceover talking about how I lit a photo shoot? No, not really. But I'm always going to, break it down for someone if they personally message me. Like I love, sharing what I do know, but I think just like on a wider scale on my platform, that's not something I really gravitate towards. But that's just me.
So what does a typical day look like in the life of doing your craft?
It's always coffee. I'm sorry. It's coffee or matcha. It's one of the two. Honestly, I don't think people understand how passionate I am about coffee. Like, it's honestly been a driving force behind my creativity as far as like inspiration. Because I associate some of my most wonderful memories and creative experiences in New York and LA with like coffee. Because when I first came to New York by myself, I like went to some cafe in Brooklyn, and it was like I had never really drank coffee before then, but it just sparked something in me because it was so good. But I'm kind of insane. Like I want it to be really bitter. Like I don't like sweet coffee. I would rather order a milkshake.
Okay.
So it's like I want to feel it. I want to feel it. Okay. So it just kind of like it just stimulates my brain to the point where honestly how I feel after like caffeine is probably how people feel after taking an Adderall that are on Adderall.
Okay.
But yeah, it takes me there, and then like the ideas start flowing, and so that's just an essential for me if I have a lot to get done or I want to sort of feel really creative. I can get creative, anywhere, or if something just comes to me. A lot of times as well, inspiration will find its way through just a moment of silence or a dream or something of that nature. But it's weird. It's weird how visions are bestowed because they just come out of nowhere. And I don't like trying to force it either. Because when I force it, I'm like, this isn't for me. Yeah. I just have to receive it and then kind of like build it from there, like build out the vision from there. But yeah, just a lot of creative planning and thinking. And then I love to finish my day with just being around friends or meeting someone new. Meeting someone new is really nice. I think that gaining perspective from other people that you don't know, a stranger, for example, is a beautiful way to receive inspiration. Yeah. At the same time, because we don't realize it, but subconsciously, like if we stay in our bubbles or in our circles, we're really limiting like the wealth of knowledge that is out there within subcultures and communities and everything. So I like to put myself in unfamiliar areas. I think that's really useful.
Yeah. And not only just with like life, but just like with your work, Yeah. You feel like it informs your work.
For sure. Yeah. Another huge inspiration and sort of catalyst for my visions is music, but more specifically underground house, techno. That sort of realm really gets me going, especially if I go to a rave or something where I'm allowed to just sort of exist very freely. That really sparks a lot of inspiration for me, because I think that the freer you exist in the real world, like the freer you'll be within yourself, your mind, and you're kind of then unlocking this space, this room for fresh ideas to come through, because there's nothing blocking it. There's like a wall that we put up when we're not able to just exist freely as humans every day.
And it's ego, would you say?
Ego. Yeah. I feel like ego, stress, anxiety, self-inflicting things that you tell yourself that aren't true, and just sort of breaking when you go to something like a rave, you're able to break all of that down, because it's a safe space. Like it's I think that dance is one of the rawest, most vulnerable forms of expression.
Yeah.
That's why dancers are so confident.
Yeah.
They really are. But yeah.
Yeah. First of all, I very much get the vibe that you're in a very receptive energy. It's very go with the flow, and it's very, I don't want to say paced, but it's just very relaxed and patient, the energy of reception. But I do really appreciate what you said, because I feel like that's something I am trying to practice myself. And it's funny because I actually was just making a video about it, just talking about, like, I love making these episodes very polished and very, dare I say, perfect, right? I mean, I have my cards here, and I like asking you guys a template of questions and allowing you guys to color it in and fill it in with your own experience. But I find that I hold back and let you guys be the star of the show, which was the intention of this show, right? Letting you guys speak, but allowing me to have my personality in it, and like allow myself to flub up, or allow us to sit here and share a laugh, and keep that in, and it's not unprofessional being candid,
so important.
So it's funny you say that, because it's something that it's been a theme of my life recently. Like just existing, I
love to hear that.
Yeah.
I feel like that is the self-realization that a lot of us are coming to this year, like younger people, because we were really forced to grow up very quickly. So it's kind of like I feel like I'm 22, so people my age, maybe like 22 to 25, are starting to reach maybe this sort of awakening that people in their 30s are receiving, just because of everything imposed on us. I think that we're just going through all of these seasons, that they're happening a lot sooner in life than maybe, an older generation.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that self-awareness at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's tired.
Everybody's
tired. Also,
wake it up. Wake it up.
I think since we've been forced to grow up so quickly, and we're desensitized to a lot of stuff, we're very self-aware. And with us being self-aware, a lot of us are doing a lot of healing and shadow work right now.
Right now, because we know. We're not gonna. We're like, this isn't cute. We gotta get it together, because we know that, like, by 40, I don't know. Like, I don't want to be stressed. I don't want to be anxious. I want to just be free. Like, I just want to be flowy. I want to be whimsy.
I also think we see the result of not doing the work, because we see the state of our world, like, truly. And we see, I mean, everybody's parents are different, but we see how our parents turned out. We see how certain people we work with, or certain people we used to be friends with, turned out, like, and I think all of us are like, it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah, totally.
So
amen to that.
Amen to awareness. Amen to healing.
Let's evolve.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow.
Tonight.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah. So I love that. I guess we could talk a little bit about AI, of course. America's princess right now, and just that in the photography realm, and your take on that. So
no, honestly, I feel that it is a great tool. It really is, and I think that it should be left at that. Let's leave it at it just being a tool.
Have you found yourself implementing AI?
So, for example, if I'm in Photoshop and there's something that would typically take me like 20 to 30 minutes to retouch, like, I'm just going to mask it and have AI, cut it out. But as far as like creative integrity, I don't want it interfering with that. So that's, for me, where I would personally draw the line. And I especially don't love seeing global campaigns utilized by AI. I think that what I would love to see is a world that exists where we can have global campaigns powered by AI, and also at the same time global campaigns, powered and crafted by real talent. as long as there's space for both. But I think that the fear or the concern is that AI will replace, and I think that would just be horrible, honestly. So I'm not necessarily mad or scared, because I think that nothing can strip from
the human experience
and expression. So I'm not tripping. I think it's gonna be fine. It's just kind of, honestly, it's kind of tacky. Like, when I think of AI, I'm like, have you seen the Skechers ad?
Yes. In
like,
the trains.
No, yeah.
Those have been a little freaky too.
They're
I'm not gonna lie.
Scary.
They're a little scandalous. Have you seen the ones?
Yeah. Wait, the one where she's like sitting like this.
Her and her legs are open.
Yeah.
Her legs are open to the camera.
No, it just kind of, like, when I look at it, I think of the Megan movie, the doll.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just stuff like that. I don't know. It's just funny. It's like, I can't take it too serious.
Yeah.
But the ones that really get me are like the AI renditions of celebrities, like, or they're like, ooh, this is an AI rendition of creative branding for said artists. Which honestly, I think that's kind of dope. Like, when they do. I saw one for Cardi B recently. This AI artist built like it was stage design or something like that for her next tour, like the visuals, and that's cool to see, like, as a blueprint, or like what's the word, when you sketch something to sort of like forecast what it's gonna look like.
Okay, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, that's cool.
I don't know what to call it, but
yeah, but
yeah, I don't think AI is ever gonna replace human touch, like you were saying. I think that's kind of just like the popular polarizing statement: is AI gonna replace human da da da? And everybody's like, no. I think it's just gonna replace critical thinking skills, and it's gonna replace, like, I don't know. It just makes everything easier. I don't think it's necessarily going to replace humans using it or like the human touch in any aspect.
No. Also, not to mention just how harmful it is.
Yeah.
Not only to the brain, but to the environment and to communities as well.
I would love to know if you have any photography hot takes or just anything that you wish your industry would do, or what you would like to introduce to your industry, or just any opinions you have in terms of the current state of the photography industry.
Yeah. I just want to say that it's easier to connect with the people that you want to be working with. It's easier than you think, because I feel that there's this sort of wall or stigma where maybe up and coming photographers feel that they can't, shoot an editorial or connect with a musician or an artist that they want to work with. And so it's like they don't know how to sort of the stepping stone. They don't know how to get to that point. And it's really easier than I think what people, let on. So it's all in just authentically creating, because you just let the work speak for itself. And I think that from that point forward, it's just about, reaching out and just putting yourself out there, and your art is already speaking for itself. So it just kind of resonates and it just takes off from there. I feel like people overcomplicate it as well with feeling like they need to pitch like an entire concept or, yada, 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 yada. And I feel like pitching doesn't necessarily make sense unless there's like trust already shared or built, like, between you and the client. So yeah. Also the gear really don't matter. The gear really don't. I think that everyone values like or they think that, oh, if I have, you know, this camera or this, you know, setup and whatnot, that, you know, I'll be worthy. But there's a lot of really insane work shot on really cheap, filthy cameras. Like, you really can make it work. I just think the lighting is pretty up there in terms of importance above all else, which is something I'm learning literally every single time I shoot. I think I know something, and then the lighting says no,
you don't.
Humility. I have something else to show you.
Yeah.
What are your goals?
My goals
with the podcast.
With the pod. Well, I actually do have another question for you, but I will get into this while we're here. You want to know something? I honestly have been thinking about if I do want to stop.
I mean, I thought that's too. That's the same question.
Because it's not entirely what I want to do. It's not entirely I don't think it's my calling. I think it's kind of just something I'm really good at right now, and I have resources to do it, make it happen, and I've been able to meet so many people, and I love hearing about other people's passions and their stories and things like that. That's very important to me, just like knowing how other people are getting by, and like just like what lights the fire underneath them. It brings me back into my world, because I find that since I've graduated and coming out of the artistic world where I was around people like us all the time, I don't really get that narrative all the time. So sometimes I feel like I'm in a bubble, or like I don't connect to everybody. So this podcast has allowed me to do that. Honestly, I think it's probably just going to be a series that lives out there, and anybody who wants to revisit it can. But I think it's time for me to like truly follow what I love. So that being said, like, I don't know if I'm gonna do a season 3. To be honest, it might just be season 2 and that's it, because it's time for me to do what truly makes me happy.
So what is that then? The thing that is driving
me? It really is music and like songs, because I write poetry. I put out my poetry book, and I love just like talking about how I feel. I am such a deep feeler, and I'm able to release that and communicate that through imagery, through my poetry. So I think putting sound to that and building like a soundscape with my words would like invite people into like my world, and also just
soundscape. That's nice.
And like just like I think I could really build out an experience with the words that I'm saying, how I'm saying them. And I love dancing. I just love performing. So just sharing myself and bearing my soul with people. And just like you do that through communicating your visions through photography, I believe that I do that through being on stage and performing in front of people through music. So yeah, that's me.
Nice.
In the faith of this show, this is what I was going to ask you, just talking to me about how you literally are able to support yourself with what you do when it might not be consistent, or if like you are in between gigs. Just talk to me about that. When I was working at my retail job, photography was the supplement to my income. But you do strictly photography, you know? So just talk to me about if you have to, pull from over here, or like how you are able to make ends meet to where you are able to live here, or like live in LA.
I think that if you aren't ready for uncomfortable seasons and seasons of uncertainty, then don't do it. Because there's a lot of just stagnancy and uncertainty, and I think that the driving element that has the same thing as faith and just assurance, because when you know your passion, you know your calling, it doesn't matter if you're broke and you're down bad, like you know that you're gonna get picked up again because you're following your heart. So I think that that's what's just carried me this far. When you say support yourself, that is valid as of today as of now, but it wasn't, not too long ago. And I think that the entire trajectory of my artistic career has been just that those moments where I think, oh, this is not realistic. How will I make this work? I'm actually shooting some pretty cool stuff, but I'm really not, like, the money isn't reflecting that. It's not adding up. So just kind of like this uncertainty within that of, is this my calling? Because I'm doing cool stuff. You would think that, like, at this point I would be taken care of, but it was just enduring those moments until it finally clicked. It made sense. It's just like, you just have to really write it out. You have to write it out and make sure that you are as grounded and as rooted and as sure of yourself and what you want as you can be. And also having, wonderful support around you and people that champion you and support the vision and understand what you're doing and who pour life into you, because those are necessary in order to survive. You really can't, I don't believe that you can pursue an artistic degree alone. It takes really community in order to survive.
Support.
Yeah.
How'd you go about finding yours? Putting
myself in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
Just going to things alone and, enduring that moment of awkwardness where you have to tap on someone's shoulder and just say hello, hi, how are you? But I think that it's just like exercising a muscle, riding a bike. Like, the more that you do it, the less you really care. So I just kept doing it, especially living in New York. That was really just, in totality, most of my experience was just being put in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
And now in LA, I feel like I have, I live with my friends, and I also have met some really wonderful people where the relationships I'm formulating now, I'm able to really show up as myself authentically. Like, I'm not distracted or overwhelmed or uncertain. I'm just at peace. So I think that I'm able to really form, like, honest and raw connection. So that's actually something I'm looking forward to this year as well, is, just moving with certainty and confidence. That's really been a main goal as well. That within art, gaining confidence is a huge goal too for me.
Yeah. I could definitely relate to that. Just with the season of loneliness, because do you feel like that season of loneliness kind of prepared you for being in these authentic spaces and being able to prepare you for, because where I'm gonna go with that is, I find that right now in this period of isolation, I'm like, damn, where are my people? Where's my community? Where are my friends? But I believe that God is like, no, I need you to truly be comfortable being by yourself and being like, fuck it, I got me, regardless of opinions or, who's gonna rock with me and who's not. So that way, when I do meet the people who are my crew and who are my tribe, like, I can match that frequency, you know what I mean, of complete and utter unapologetic authenticity. Because if those are the people I want to call in, I have to be that. So I think right now he's like, let me make sure you fuck with you first before I bring in the people who truly are going to fuck with you, So
true. That's so true. Yeah. Like, everything is going to feel, I think, relationship-wise, maybe surface level, or kind of like, we're friends, but I don't really know you. Or maybe it's like we're close, but I can't really tell if, like, you see me for me or you understand me. And I think that, like, all of that can be solved by just, being more sure of yourself.
Yeah. Because
when you are sure of yourself, you're able to, it doesn't matter who you're with, whether it's a stranger or a best friend, like, you're going to show up as you, So I feel you.
Yeah.
Especially with the periods of isolation when nothing's going on, because it's humans want to latch onto, other energy, but it's like, no, babe, you have energy. You have, like, your spirit is so holds so much weight and just power that you really don't actually need anyone else. But yeah, once that clicks, then I think that life in general is just a lot easier.
So much better.
Freedom.
One more question, and this is going to be about rate, and then we also have to do the what's the rate segment. But with your rate and formulating your rate, how did you go about coming to that?
Oof.
And standing 10 toes on that.
That's a loaded question. Because it's just depending on the situation, the scenario, the scale of what your services you're offering.
Do you rent gear or you have your own gear?
I have my own gear, but I mean, typically depending on the production, a lot of times I'll have to rent more gear just to execute, so it's proper. But yeah, the rate for me was very much trial and error, and still is. It really is. Like, it just, you kind of have to be able to read the room.
Okay.
In order to sort of like land, at the right spot.
Okay.
So I feel like with, as far as advice, just, gather as much intel as you can on what you're going to be doing so that you can find something that's honest and reflective.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Do you do it to where like people can just book your service, or do they kind of because with like in film, when you like are bringing on a DP, they're like, oh, okay, well, you have to account for the gear I have to bring and also my day rate, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So like my rate is definitely itemized. It's broken down. By the set labor, the creative services, which is like the planning, the pre-production, and then the post-production, of course, and then typically a usage license as well. So those are all components of the rate. But if it's something that's more intimate or just like low key, then I'm likely not even going to break down my rate. I'll just be like, this is my rate for this many hours.
Yeah. Do you find you have to break down your rate for bigger clients, or do you find that you do it more often for like smaller clients or indie?
Bigger clients for me, at least, just because I like to keep everything as streamlined and transparent as possible with bigger clients. So I like to provide like a breakdown for them.
Yeah.
When I can. I
went to a photography panel and he was like, you don't want to be the person who's like paid the least on a set. If you're working for like, I don't know, like a huge brand, like you can confidently be like, no, I want 4 bands for that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I remember the first time I got a pretty, hefty check for a gig. I was on the phone with a record label. And I was so nervous because I was like, oh, we're on the phone with it, so they're gonna want to know what my rate is over the phone, so I just have to throw something out there. And they just were like, yeah, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
And it just threw me off because up until that point, I never said a number like that high where I felt like it would have been feasible. So the fact they were just like, oh, okay, I was like, oh, so I have ascended, out of the, like, what would it be, like 3-digit rate.
Yeah. I do want to speak to how you came into your career immediately after high school. High school. So, and just that experience, right? So that transition, talk to us briefly about that.
Yeah. So photos started for me in high school, just taking senior photos, and that evolved into creative portraits, which then evolved into coming here to New York to shoot fashion weeks and to set up shoots with models, and then just sort of like acquiring this and absorbing this wealth of kind of visual art and fashion, and sort of like my eyes were just opened, you know, because even when I started photo, I didn't really, like, my eyes weren't open, you know. I was, my goals were to be like the number one senior photographer in my hometown. Like, I was never thinking that I wanted to shoot, you know, for a magazine. So it's just interesting how that perspective really evolves over time. But the experience actually is funny because in high school, doing photography, which was also post-COVID, I really was not having it. Like, I went to school and I just wanted to edit photos, and I did not want to. And also, we weren't really learning at that time. So the most recent memory of school for me is photography, because I didn't go to school for photo, but it felt like during high school, my senior year, I was just so focused on photo. And none of my peers really understood that, you know? Like, they didn't really understand it. Like, they didn't support it, with the exception of my best friend. But everyone else around me, it just kind of felt like they were evil-eyeing me a little bit. And I just think that that's kind of because of the community that I came from. I guess because the arts weren't really looked upon as something that was suitable for a career. So it's weird. It's just a weird energy.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to get into the What's the Rate segment. These are 7 things that you're going to rate 1 through 10. 1 being no, 10 being we're here for it.
Okay.
All right. So number 1 is using Instagram to find career opportunities.
10.
Cold DMs.
90%. 90% of my work is probably came through IG.
DMs. So do you... and you're not with an agency at all.
No.
And that's crazy.
No.
Because your work is so fire.
It is interesting, but I think that I believe that I haven't been signed for a reason. I think it's because, I don't know. I just have a weird feeling, intuition about it not being a positive experience.
Oh, okay.
For me. It's kind of tricky because I feel like also being self-taught and kind of like my process is very intuitive and less like systematic and, you know, super detail oriented. I don't really know if it aligns with like an agency, a talent agency.
Like fulfilling a demand, kind of. Yeah. Okay.
But maybe I'll do it for a chick.
Right. Number 2 is LinkedIn.
Ooh, 10. It works well for me.
Okay. Well, I could see why.
Because if you download, it's called Apollo. If you download this extension called Apollo, you can find anyone's email.
Okay.
So, and the best way to do that is through LinkedIn.
Okay.
So I use the extension on LinkedIn, and then you can just type in, like, if you're wanting to locate an art director of like Nike or something, you know, and they don't have their email on their Instagram or LinkedIn, then you just use that extension.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I don't actually reach out via LinkedIn. Okay. I just use LinkedIn to access the email.
The people. Okay, cool. Number 3 is always saying yes.
Always saying yes? 4.
Okay.
4.
Number 4 is mentors.
10.
Number 5, non-paid projects.
I'm gonna go like 7. 7 just because, well, maybe 5 because it's 50-50. I'll go 5, 50-50 because yes, non-paid will lead to the paid work, but also not non-paid all the time because we gotta get the coin.
You do like personal projects with your friends for fun?
Yeah, personal projects honestly compose the majority of my work.
Yeah. That
I share, you know. There's a lot of paid work that's not being shared. So, because a lot of paid work is you executing someone else's vision, and that's not always what I want to share with the world.
Yeah. All right. Number 6, working your way up.
10.
Okay. Number 7 is fame.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Because it's like cool, but it's not, you know, why you do what you do.
Yeah. All right. The last thing, I promise it's the last thing, are just some of the photographers that you do look up to or the photographers' work that you admire.
Oh, Wait, I have to shout out my friend Caillou. He's an LA-based photographer, and I connected with him when I recently moved, and his work is very eccentric. It just evokes so much feeling, and quite honestly, I haven't came across a photographer's work that has sparked something in me in a while. And first time I came across his work, I said, oh, this is what I want to be doing. I thought I knew what I want to be doing. This is what I want to be doing. Mm-hmm. So his work is very brilliant, very original. And I think that he just, you know, he defies the boundaries of what photography can be, especially in a commercial market. And just kind of like not caring, doing what he wants.
Yeah. I really like Terry O'Neill.
Terry
passed
O'Neill.
away.
What are some things that he has shot?
I think he was more so known for taking kind of the photos behind the curtain of like celebrities, not literally behind the curtain, but just more so of them in their natural element. Them like the morning after they win an award. I remember that was one of them. I can't remember specifically who it is. I think her last name was Dunham or something like that. But the morning after, she's chilling by her pool, like eating like, I don't know, like chicken wings or something like that, reading the newspaper, and it's like a normal day for her, but she just won like an Oscar or something. And just showcasing like these celebrities are just like us, you know. So I just really liked that.
I would love to view some of his work.
Terry O'Neill
sounds actually really enlightening.
Yeah.
Another one for me would be Jean-Baptiste. He worked with Grace Jones quite a lot. That era is really, really inspiring, honestly. I feel like that was like a turning point within photography, and like musicians wanting to do like really creative, unconventional, sort of weird stuff for their rollouts and things. I feel like his work with Grace really changed the trajectory of photography.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love Jorah Frantis. Have you heard?
Is it a female?
Yes.
Yeah, she sounds familiar.
Her work is insane.
Wait, you're mentioning all of these, I feel like pioneers.
Her work is, I think
I need to
I'll show you.
I need to enlighten myself.
I'll put some of her work here in the video, but oh my gosh, I love her work. But yeah, just like kind of breaking the fourth wall when it comes to photography. She does an amazing job with that.
Okay, we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
I want to see you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
This was so grounding. Every time I've spoken to you, it just feels like it brings me back to like source, honestly, like dare I say, you know, like and just receiving and just being and just existing.
That is 90% of the work. Being an artist is existing. You must exist, you must live, you must breathe, you must play, you know, you must do things by yourself. All of those things breathe just like ideas and imagination into the soul, you know, because like as children, that's what we would do. We just live. That's why, you know, children are so fascinating, because they're the imaginations, and it's like we as adults should really like hold on to that, or if we've lost it, try to like come back to it, because I think that's what unlocks, you know, just like endless possibilities.
That's who we really are. I really do believe we all really are just our inner child.
Yes, and I think adulting is just trying to find your inner child again.
Yeah, and not let everything that like has been put on to you define or alter that inner child, you know, and protecting that as you get older, you know, and vanity and flesh starts to decay, but not allowing your spirit to decay, you know. Amen. And on that note, thank you again. Thank you. Yeah.
So grateful for this moment.
Yes.
It was such a beautiful exchange.
Yeah.
Of perspective, which was needed for me as well, especially amidst my chaotic few days being here. I needed something grounding.
Yeah. I'm very glad it was grounding for you as well. I appreciate it. Thanks for holding space with me.
Likewise.
Yeah.
What's the rate?
What is the rate? What's the rate?
What's the rate?
What's the rate?
What's the rate?
Anyways, well, Thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of What's the Rate. I'm your host, Breon Lyons, and I'll catch you on the next episode.